Hello, I'm Michelle Swan-Young. Thanks so much for joining me today. I want to talk a little bit about awareness. And what is it, and why is it so important? So when I'm talking about awareness, I mean more of self-awareness. So self-awareness is just noticing what's really going on in ourselves. So in our bodies, in our minds, in our emotions, and in our relational connections with one another. And when I teach, I always start with self-awareness because it's kind of this foundation. If you don't realize what's going on for yourself, you can't choose the right tools to bring in to change it if that's something that you actually want to do. And you can't even decide if you want to change anything if you're not aware of what's going on. So I want to tell you a little bit of a story from a while ago when my kids were really little. So I have 3 kids and they are about 2.5 years apart. So they were sort of preschool age-ish. And I had this recurring experience. And I would, everyone would be alive and well, and seeming to be fine. And I would be managing through my days. And I would think that I was doing fine. And in many ways I was. But then something little would happen and all of a sudden I would just blow up. And I want to just say that definitely there can be some trauma in a person's life that can cause that to happen. That is not what we're talking about today. And if that's the case for you, then I would highly suggest that you see a trauma-informed therapist and to work through those things. But this was not trauma-based. This was because I just didn't realize what was going on inside of myself. I didn't notice the signs in my body that I was sort of holding more and more and more stress, and I didn't realize the signs in my thoughts, and I didn't even recognize in my emotions, because I was pretty good at holding it all together, that the different things that were bothering me were just building up until something little would happen, like maybe I would trip on a toy or even just see a mess on the table and I just sort of lose it. And I would often regret how I had acted towards the people around me because it really wasn't their fault that I was feeling so frustrated. And I would wish that I could do something different, but I hadn't developed the awareness of what was actually going on. So I never had the opportunity to come in and do something different to help me never get to that spot. I've learned a few things since then, and now that might still happen sometimes, but I do have a few more tools. I wanted to also note that as parents, when things like this happen and we're not aware of what's going on, it can be really easy to blame our kids. It can be easy to blame our kids for whatever behavior it was that sort of ended up pushing us over the edge, or blame them for not being able to sort of handle themselves emotionally, when really, like, we also don't know how to handle ourselves emotionally, and we're not only are we not being good role models for them, but we're also contributing to the situation that we feel like is stressing us out so much. And if that feels a little stingy for you, I would really invite you right now just to bring a lot of kindness to yourself, because I know that as parents, we are absolutely all doing the very best that we can with what we have. And this is not about being perfect or never making a mistake. It's just about taking another step on the journey toward being more whole and toward living a more meaningful life and having a better connection with our kids. So the society that we live in is not really conducive to self-awareness, although I think there's a lot of things that are happening that are helping. So I just want to say, like, don't bring too much judgment for yourself if you realize that you are massively contributing to the conflict or to the issues in the relationship with your kids. That the awareness is the place you have to start. And until you can be kind enough to yourself to be able to recognize it and own it, then you can't actually move forward in what you can do about it. So the reason why, like I said earlier, the reason why I find that self-awareness is so important if we want to go towards calm is because you can't do anything, you can't take any steps in that direction if you don't realize that there's a place that you want to go. If you don't realize that you're not there yet, if you don't recognize that there's something going on in you that you could actually lovingly address and change, that will actually help change the situation. So that's what I wanted to talk about self-awareness today. I hope that you have a wonderful day and take very good care.